arriving at the forecourt of the villa at exactly 5:25 p.m. on Thursday in a navy blue traditional attire, brandishing a walking stick and alighting from a black Toyota Land Cruiser SUV. And the governor arrived alongside the National Security Advisor Oluyole. It is the first meeting with the president since his re-election in last Saturday's governorship polls. And Adelike's visit comes days after President Tinubu personally called to congratulate him on his re-election victory, describing the outcome as a fitting assurance that democracy will continue to flourish in our country, and urging the governor to unite Osun residents regardless of their political choices in the election. Yes, I could remember then that President Tinubu had congratulated the newly elected re-elected Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke on his victory. And there were hues and cries all over the place. Now the governor has, personally gone to visit President Tinubu, and of course he presented his return certificate to the president. Yes, and here I can see a picture speak here. Both of them stand beside each other holding the certificate yes, of return. Well, to me, very good one, a spirit of sportsmanship, despite the fact that the APC lost in Osun State. The governor, the president still accommodated him. Now, petrol subsidy removal. Presidency tackles Atiku. Criticism of volte-face says ex-VP spoke like a man from archaic past. Let's go through the story here. It's coming from the Tribune. The presidency and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar on Thursday engaged in a war of words over a possible return of the nation to a fuel subsidy regime, while Atiku said in a statement by his senior special assistant on public communications, Frank Shaibu, that he would introduce targeted subsidy regimes that would accelerate domestic refining if elected in 2027. The presidency, in a statement by the special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on information and strategy, Mr. Bayo Nonuga, said that the former vice president was simply desperate for power, accusing him of volte-face. And the article in the statement released on Thursday said that he would implement what he called the Atiku Economic Recovery Plan, AERP, if elected into power, adding that the policy will replace the nation's import subsidy architecture and be imbued with a targeted, capped, transparently budgeted and independently audited production subsidy, which he said will be designed to lower energy costs and accelerate domestic refining. All the volley of English there, of promises.
Well, good to see you, Bimbo. I do not know this matter of subsidy removal. The ex-vice president saying that he will return subsidy when he becomes president. Has he forgotten that he told us that he, and indeed every other presidential candidate at the time President Tinubu was running, and those that were contesting the seat with him, all of them said they were going to remove subsidy if they became president. So what has changed now? Why is subsidy removal no longer desirable? What is Alhaji Atiku now seeing that he didn't see before? So that's why I take this promise of his with a pinch of salt. Are we going forward or we are moving backwards? Because subsidy removal, well, according to all of them, was the way to go. They said it was the way forward. So how come for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar it's no longer the way forward?
Yeah, you asked the question.
Typical politician, a typical Nigerian politician.
You asked the question that are we going forward or we are going backwards? Yes, like a piece that I played on air. I think sometimes last year. The composer of that song said, "This is the history of Nigeria: one step forward, two steps backward." So that means we are still on one point. So that is just the summary of the whole thing.
Lumba can predict what will happen if Alhaji Atiku becomes president with these his promises. When he fails to keep those promises, he will now give excuses. He will say that Nigerians quoted him out of context. He will say that he's not a magician, that he cannot perform magic. That as for the refinery that he said he would subsidize, he will tell us that the refineries that the matter of refineries is very much more complex. He won't say that he didn't see that before. He won't tell us that he didn't see that the matter was complex before. He'll just tell us, wake up one morning and tell us that the matter is much more complex, and that there are things that we do not know that have to be tackled. And what are those things? He will probably not tell us. Then he will say that okay, that Nigerians should be patient. Well, the usuals, Bimbo, that Nigerians should be patient, that these things are going to take time. That he made some promises, that he said he would say that he made promises, but he didn't say he was going to perform magic, like I said. Yes. So the usuals, Bimbo, and the way they always credit us, like I always say, with very little intelligence, as if we cannot think, as if we cannot reason, as if we cannot read between the lines. Like the presidency said, I also think he's desperate for power, so he will say anything, just about anything, including things that he's not going to do. Remember, a former governor of Oyo State, now late, there was this hollering over minimum wage at a particular point in time, and he was running for the governorship. He eventually won. And one of the promises he made was that he was going to pay the minimum wage that was being paid at the federal level. And when he did not, well, at least he was truthful in telling us that he deceived us. He was truthful about it. He told us that what did we expect, that when we are trying to woo a beautiful woman, and she doesn't seem to want to budge, that you make all sorts of sweet promises. You talk with a sugar-coated tongue for the woman, for the lady to bow to your whims and caprices. So he said that was what happened, and that was the end of the matter. Remember, yes. Although, well, he eventually turned out to be at least perhaps one of the just one of the best governors that Oyo State ever had. But then that one I will never forget. So as for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, well, I think I stand with presidency on this. He spoke like a man from the archaic past. I don't think he spoke like a man from the archaic past. He spoke like a man who is desperate and who wants to fool you and I. Yes. And then, it's unveiling a plan to subsidize the refineries, and then, well, now we say Nigeria targeted capped fuel subsidy, Bimbo. So, now, the story, did he say how he was going to deal with the subsidy thieves? The cause of the problem in the first place, the reason the subsidy was not working in the first place, did he tell us how he was going to deal with that? The subsidy thieves, the very same people that will probably provide part of the funding for his campaign. So is he going to turn on them when he gets there? And I think it's a subtle way of telling those ones that I'm going to return your food. That's another way of looking at it, Bimbo.
Yes.
The food that has been taken away from you, don't worry, I'm going to return it. So maybe that's what they are asking in exchange for their backing. And maybe that is why he's saying this now. I suspect very strongly this is the reason Alhaji Atiku is saying what he's saying now. Maybe the subsidy thieves, the one that hold this country by the jugular, the untouchables, maybe he has been meeting with them, and then in exchange for campaign funding or some other form of support. These are the powerful people. It's not only in terms of funding that they hold Nigeria down. Yes. They hold Nigeria down in virtually everything. So I will return what you've been eating. I will return the national cake to you. Just give me your support.
Yes. And after the support had been given, and emerges as president, the food again will be removed from the table.
So he's not going to remove it, but then maybe things will get better to the detriment of the economy. I'm not saying that the economy is going the right way under President Tinubu. Of course, subsidy removal was very sudden, and of course, the gains, we are not seeing the gains because the president is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's not dealing with the subsidy thieves, and they are fighting back. And what the president simply did was to remove the money from subsidy removal, the money gain, removed it from the oil thieves and then put it in the pockets of the politicians. That's simply what the president has done. And we are supposed to be having more money, yet and we are still going down the poverty lane. So, but then he's now saying that the way to fix things is to go back to subsidy again. And then, well, I do not get it, Bimbo. Like you said, one step forward, several steps backward.
Yes.
I don't trust this man. I mean, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. For him to have said this, my opinion here.
Well, like you said, sugar-coated mouth to get what you want from the lady.
You know, remember, he will give the subsidy thieves what they lost. He will give it back to them. At the same time, perhaps give us or not give us what we want. Him saying this now, our thoughts will be channeled towards, when they return subsidy, things will be better. Petrol will go back to $200 per litre and all that. And of course, but Nigerians are not fools. They knew it was part of the problem from the. Okay, don't let me castigate him because I don't have the right to run down any presidential candidates on air. But like I said, for my own Bimbo, me, I don't trust him.
So you can see a picture in front of you there. You know, President Tinubu receiving newly elected Governor Ademola Adeleke, newly elected Governor Ademola Adeleke. And, you know, of course, him presenting a certificate of return. You know, I just see this as a kind of a spirit of sportsmanship on the part of President Tinubu. You know, despite the fact that his party lost in Osun State during the last elections.
Yes, the president's party lost, but don't forget the president very much wanted Governor Adeleke to become a part of APC. It was the power brokers in the APC in Osun State that did not want him. They were afraid that the elephants would bring down the roof, that it would bring down the house, and they were afraid that they would lose their own powers to the elephants. So, President Tinubu has simply had to capitulate to what they wanted. But the most he could do for Governor Adeleke during the election was to allow for free and fair play. Yes, the whole place was militarized. We saw the FCC doing this and that, and we saw the security agencies. We saw what they did. But from the look between the lines, remember, and look at the body language of President Tinubu, it looked like he did guarantee that a free and fair contest ensued eventually, despite the bullying, despite the, people that did things that we cannot ascribe to the, that we should not ascribe to the president if we are to be fair. But then he is the president. I agree that he would eventually take the blame for everything. But then, like I said, he wanted, so this kind of relationship that we are seeing now as depicted on the front page of the national dailies this morning shows that I have a feel that it is what President Tinubu wanted to happen that eventually happened.
Maybe there is a kind of arrangement.
Well, arrangement, but it was still the will of the people. It was the people that put Governor Adeleke in power. And, subtle means of kind of underground support from President Tinubu in exchange for you would also support me and you would convince your people to vote for me when it's time for the presidential race. But like one of our, I think it was Mr. Kombi Adebayo that said it yesterday that Governor Adeleke should not make the mistake of thinking that the people would automatically, yes, they love him, but they will automatically listen to him in 2027 regarding. But then 2027 is around the corner. We wait and see what the people of Osun State will decide. It is up to them, and I think Governor Adeleke also knows this. But like I said, Bimbo, this kind of relationship that you are seeing shows that. It says Governor Adeleke says I came to thank Father of the Nation. Well, more like he came to thank his father, his political. For now, his political father. And he says, don't stigmatize your opponents, President tells him. So this happened, like I said, because President Tinubu actually wanted, I believe he wanted him to win. I know he wanted him in the party. It was the Oyetolas of this world that were not very comfortable with him coming into the party, and President Tinubu would not overrule what they wanted. So, and I have a feeling that if Governor Adeleke had successfully become a member of the APC, he would still have won that election.
Yes.
And all that wahala wouldn't have been necessary. Okay. Okay, you what that? Well, I don't know if you have touched on this bimbo. You that's the national chairman of the APC, apologizing to aggrieved APC aspirants and members in Oyo and seeks unity among party faithful. I was talking about Oyo State.
Yes, I haven't gotten through it.
So, well, was he in the state? And then, okay, the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Professor Nentawe Yuwada, has apologized to aggrieved aspirants to various political office and members over perceived wrongs during the party's primaries in Oyo State. He said the National Working Committee, NWC, had taken responsibility for what transpired during the primary. And Professor Yuwada stated this during the launch of the APC governorship campaign office in Ibadan on Thursday. Well, quite a big event in the state capital yesterday. And then he appealed to members who felt hurt, injured, prevented, or excluded in any form to forgive the party and remain united ahead of the elections. You know the interesting thing being, but that party office that they opened, one of the APC governorship campaign office in Ibadan, that party office that they opened is the same place where they used to have an office, but I think it was more of Abiola Jimobi's campaign office, I think. So anyway, that's the governorship campaign office now. The PDP is now using that place. The APC, yes. And the APC governorship candidate, Dr. Sarafadin Ali, commended the party's national chairman for fulfilling his promises to the state within 2 days. Well, I don't know what promise that is. Okay.
Now, I have this story here, which just really looks funny to me. Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oborevori, said his monthly salary is 503,000 naira, lower than the 900,000 naira earned by permanent secretaries in the state. And he disclosed this on Thursday during the inauguration of 12 four-bedroom terraced duplexes for permanent secretaries and the presentation of 12 official vehicles to newly appointed permanent secretaries in Asaba, the Delta State capital. And the governor who spoke during the event in a video posted by a private TV station on YouTube said that the state government had increased the salaries of permanent secretaries after they complained that some directors were earning almost the same amount as them.
Okay, how much do you say permanent secretaries were earning? Let's do the calculation.
900,000.
900,000. Okay, I said 900,000. Oh, okay. And then how much did he say it was? It's lesser than that by how much?
500, about close to about 400,000. He's earning about 503,000 naira, like he claimed.
403,000. This is 403,000 less.
No, 503,000 naira. That's his salary.
Okay. Okay. So it means that his salary is still 97,000 naira lesser than the salary of a permanent secretary. So why is he telling us that? I wonder.
I don't understand.
We are not interested.
What I feel here is that, okay, what about all the emoluments, all the what is all those things that they add to their salaries? Won't it pass? Go past the 900,000 naira being earned by the permanent secretaries at the end of the day.
Is that his total take home? And then the way he's saying it, we are now supposed to feel sorry for him. We are supposed to tell him that he has tried, that he has sacrificed. We are supposed to clap for him. He should just go and sit down. Like I said, we are not interested. And okay, a Sokoto boat accident, remember, one sad one here. 46 bodies recovered, 15 rescued in Sokoto boat accident. Okay, let's see, going to, that's on page 12 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Okay, yes, for some details and excerpts of that story. At least 46 bodies have been recovered, while 15 passengers were rescued following a boat accident in Goroyo local government area of Sokoto State. The boat, which was conveying 77 passengers, including farmers, women, and children, reportedly capsized shortly after departing the community on Thursday morning. Confirming the incident, spokesman of the Sokoto State Police Command, DSP Ahmed Rufai, said rescue teams were still searching for 16 missing passengers as of the time of filing this report. Shall we never have an end to this boat accident? 77 on board a boat. I wonder what kind of boat that must have been.
I think it should be all those boats that are being powered by maybe some these the engines that is always
outboard engines.
Outboard engines.
A canoe fitted with outboard engines, but then that wouldn't take 77 people. I wonder how big it must have been to take 77.
And that 77 too is it should be kind of overloading there, overloading.
And police recovered 3 Beretta pistols hidden in plantains in Edo. As a 39 arrested as vandals destroyed Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, removed 1,800 manholes, iron reinforcements. Again, people you refuse to build, destroying the infrastructure you have built. I am not justifying crime, but then that is the sad reality of our time. In those good old days, no one would think of people would be happy with this kind of infrastructure. No one would think of vandalizing anything, but then people would do just about anything to survive. I mean, criminal-minded people. So it's quite sad, because that's a very commendable project, which I'm always happy about. Whenever my land there is progress, but now 1,800 manholes, iron reinforcements. Well, 39 suspects have been arrested, and a total of 1,800 manhole covers have been vandalized and stolen along the coastal highway. And this is just as the police in the state and the federal government have intensified the fight against vandalism on the highway. So it has come to that we must have something like a task force anytime a major project is going on to ensure that project is safely executed and delivered. But then after it is delivered, what next? So like I said, while we are building infrastructure, we must also build people. Yes, there's no justification for crime, I agree, but then that's the sad reality. Crime will be reduced to the barest minimum if people are also well taken care of. And it's not, and I'm not talking about just stomach infrastructure. Stomach infrastructure doesn't mean food in your stomach alone. It means availability, access to good jobs, access to jobs that will put food on your table. So maybe you'll be less inclined to commit crime when there is food on your table. And malaria, local data could hold the key to cutting debts, says Nigeria Health Watch. And on subsidy savings, NECA wants state local governments to account for 10.4 trillion naira. Again, the matter of subsidy. So, NECA again is asking us to hold our governors accountable, data for the people in the LGs, to account for 10.4 trillion naira. And things are still the way they are. Maybe everything is going channeled into Calabar Coastal Highway.
We're still talking health issues now. Now, food on the table. Of course, like you said, of course, people must eat. But poor regulation have been pointed out. Yes, poor regulation of and unhygienic practices have said to have worsened food safety crisis. And this write-up here is saying there is a recipe for disaster. And in recent times, the country witnessed renewed public concern about the safety of the food that many citizens consume daily. And from allegations of excessive sugar content in processed foods to concerns about the quality and composition of some tomato paste products, the demand for greater transparency, stronger consumer protection, and stricter regulation is always present. And indeed, from bustling roadside vendors to upscale restaurants, concerns over food safety are now a public health emergency. Beyond cost cutting, this challenge is exacerbated by dire economic pressure, as reflected in soaring food inflation, shrinking purchasing power, and currency devaluation, which push unscrupulous vendors to commit food fraud to survive.
And what you have said is very, very true. And it's not just the food vendors, even the manufacturing conglomerates.
Yes.
Bimbo, many of them are engaged in untoward practices in the process of production just to save cost because of the prohibitive cost of production. And the many ash policies being churned out, especially by the CBN in our country and other organizations that have to do with business financing. Well, NAFDAC has a lot of work to do. People are dying, Bimbo, because of this kind of adulterated products that is flooding our markets, especially when we talk about processed food. People are dying of cancer, kidney failure. It's on the rise. And even children under 10, as young as under 10, are falling victims of cancer and renal failure. This is the reason, Bimbo. And it is indeed a recipe for disaster. And remember what I said, Bimbo, about the fact that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is promises that he would return subsidy, and what he promised that he said something like a plan to subsidize the refineries, something like that. So, well, that came from the ADC candidate, by the way, not from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. So, I know what I said about these promises, Bimbo, that they would eventually have an excuse when they are unable to fulfill those promises, which in any case they know they were not going to fulfill. Now, in the case of subsidy removal and the questions we've been raising as to the fact that we've been saving money from subsidy removal, that's why are we still borrowing, and why I know despite the president told us that no more borrowing, he said the money that to be made from subsidy removal will be sufficient to run the country and everyone will be happy. Now that has not happened, the authorities have an excuse as to the reason the savings are not working. Now hear this: forced subsidy removal did not create cash windfall. So they are saying we should not see those savings as a cash windfall. They said it only reduced borrowing pressure. That's coming from the federal government. How convenient. So they are explaining it away now. Excuses as to why they are not keeping their promises. Explains rationale for floating naira in an import-dependent economy. The federal government has clarified that the removal of petrol subsidy did not create a large pool of cash at its disposal. So why are you asking us to hold our governments accountable if a large pool of cash has not been created for you and has not been created for the governors? Now, but rather, they said did not create a large pool of cash, but rather reduce a major fiscal burden and the amount of additional borrowing that would otherwise have been required. The clarification was contained in the Federal Ministry of Finance publication, Nigeria's Economic Reforms by the Numbers, which explains the rationale behind some of the government's major economic reforms, including petrol subsidy removal and the floating of the naira. Responding to questions about the financial benefits of subsidy removal, the government said the reform should be understood primarily as a measure to ease pressure on public finances, not to solve problems. I'm getting frustrated.
I think, I don't know, maybe I'm getting this wrong. Or is it that, you said we should hold our governors accountable? Maybe because the allocations, monthly allocations, shared by local governments are increasing by the month.
They said it is not a windfall. They said it's not a pool of cash, at least for them. So it means it shouldn't be a pool of cash or a windfall. What if you expect that windfall? They are talking from both sides of the mouth now. We are asking them to hold them we are asking us to hold them accountable, and still tell us at the same time that it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean a sudden windfall. It doesn't mean a sudden whatever. It doesn't mean that more cash is available, but rather to ease pressure on public finances. They said it is not a sudden revenue windfall. And the government also added that the benefits were not limited to the federal government, as states and local governments received substantially higher allocations, exactly what you said. So you are now blaming the states and the local governments. You don't want to be held accountable because you don't have a sudden revenue windfall, but you want us to go and hold the governors and the local government chairmen accountable. Now, this funds, according to the Ministry of Finance, supported salaries, pensions, infrastructure, and other public services, with states taking the largest effective share. But they are also trying to tell us what happened to the money. The money that is not supposed to be a sudden revenue windfall.
That was what I was trying to say.
So it's not supposed to be. So do you blame Alhaji Atiku Abubakar if he says he's going to return subsidy when he gets there? Because the removal has not offered any solution, according to these people. It has only eased pressure on public finances. Let's open the phone lines. 070 5555 That is the number to call. And 080 55009850.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Would you like to call from Oluyole Kingdom?
Good to have you, sir.
Mr. Tola, very well with us.
Yeah, thank you.
It seems that you are speaking for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar this morning. But when you now stop, when you stop now, make me not to say them, not to really see that you are speaking for him.
Okay.
Let's try on the hand. This administration, I don't know. But all politicians, to me, it seems they are the same. But we still have those of them that we can trust. So, me, Ojo Michael, I believe what Atiku said. During 2022 or thereabouts, when he was campaigning, he said he will remove fuel subsidy. The president said they remove it now. What is the outcome? What is the result? It's still it got things. So, I don't know. But let's give anybody another thing. I'm saying this. My own view. Let's give another person a trial. 2027. God bless my brothers. I think that's all.
All right, thank you. I know what Mr. Ojo Michael is saying, that, oh deity, if you cannot save me, return me to the way I was. The matter of subsidy.
Yes. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Benson.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you.
This country, there's something that a system we have run in this country, and that system is punish the underprivileged. That is just the way this country is run. Now, Mr. Atiku Abubakar came out and said in 2023 that is going to remove subsidy. He gave reasons and all that, the reason why they should remove it. And maybe because for the song then, for the music then, by everybody in politician, remove subsidy, remove subsidy, everybody now keen to it. Now, he now saw the subsidy thing is not working. He now says he's not going to remove it. Now, give us the reason why you are not removing subsidy. He said he wants to subsidize the refineries and all that. Then, the question, these people will not come for debate. The one thing is, the refineries. That refineries efficient enough to be subsidized. Then how are you going to, which process are you doing? They can't explain. That is just it. The reason Mr. President has been fumbling with our economy, because he thought the running of the state is like doing political rallies and hosting people as body law. That is what he thought. He thought the way they use their dexterity to do all the abracadabra and politics, that is the way they run Nigeria. That is why they keep messing up, they keep fumbling. That's just it. Now, you said you are removing subsidy, and you said you now came out after almost 4 years that you should the Minister for Finance should do the account and all that and do the auditing so that people will know what you use subsidy money for. Something you already paid, and later you now push the blame to the state and the local government, which I know they have their blame too. The local government and the state government have their blame. That's one is not on that table. We all know they messed up with the now, you are collecting 52%. What did you do with that subsidy money? I don't know. You don't have the large workforce like the entire state. You don't have the entire infrastructure like the entire state. So what are you trying to tell us? And you are collecting 52% of the subsidy. You are not to push the blame. So a government will come one day in this country. I used to say that we probe all these people and send all these people to prison. That's just it. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
From Ikolaba. Also, 55551985.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Please move away from your radio set.
Good morning, my brother. Malaki Tunde Onaiwola.
Good to have you, sir.
Yeah. You see, it's quite unfortunate. We have all these years been deceived by these politicians, and they cannot change. Whoever says among them we will not remove subsidy is a lie. After all, Atiku the other time said they will remove subsidy. Obi said they will remove subsidy. But what have they put in return? It's only suffering and smiling. People are suffering seriously. Look at it every now and then. The state, the local government, all of them who are collecting additional funds, what are they using the funds for? No, in fact, in your state, they have increased, they still continue to take loan in all the states, and the federal itself continue to take loan. Apart from the loan, they have increased taxes on every item. Every item, even DSTV, all these services. In your state, they have increased tax on land rent. Land, if you want to do CFO, or you want to do, they still want to increase on CFO after additional cost. They still want to increase on, if you want to, what to call it. Now, it's about this land, something you do. It's now 250,000 instead of 70,000 before. So all these are against the wishes and of the masses. We are suffering. People are suffering. Don't say because you are paying school salary. That is your right. It is the right of every worker to receive the salary at one due. If they are not wicked, they should not be saying they are doing it. Where is the job? Where are the factories? Where are the industries? This money should be pumped into industry so that it will create jobs for the team masses that are suffering on the road. Every now and then you turn out thousands, millions of students, no job. Would that not increase poverty? Would that not increase insecurity? So I think these politicians should change their tactics. We need industries. We need infrastructures. We need funding in education. In other areas, let them revamp Ajakuta, and every state should have industries. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. All
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, again, Alhaji Oluyole, they are trying to tell us that we should not see the money made from such removal as a sudden revenue windfall. They said it is primary to ease pressure on public finances. So all those things you mentioned, why would they tell us that they cannot achieve all those things with the money from subsidy windfall? Or from subsidy removal, rather.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Kola.
Good morning.
I'm a bio Fabugi.
Good to have you, sir.
I'm very, very interested in what you brought about this so-called subsidy this morning. And if I may introduce myself further to you, I have a BSc in economics before I studied law.
Oh.
Now, yes, from University of Lugard, I had it once. So I'm well versed in that area. Let me tell you one thing. For you to remove subsidy is a problem. To restore it back is another problem. It's ironical. Because the reason being that this same set of looters are out there for you. Do you know the president we have has or handle? And it is through this type of company channel with our resources. Look at this article. Article said when he was campaigning, but even at the gun point, he will privatize NNPC. These are the people that are the so-called mafia. Now let me tell you one thing. What is